Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. As usual, a little bit of technical difficulties before we got started.
It never fails.
So sorry for starting a bit late. We are working with our webcam today for our hand cam rather than our nice fancy camera.
Fancy cam.
So bear with us. We're going to do the best that we can with what we've got. So first of all, hi, everybody. If this is your first time watching us, we are here on the Bead Places Facebook page on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Central. We are a brick and mortar bead store in the St. Louis area. We're in a town called Fairview Heights, Illinois. And we're about 15 minutes from downtown St. Louis, Missouri. So hi, everybody. We are going to be talking about bead history today. So we're going to be showing some trade beads, some modern trade beads, and also some vintage trade beads. We're going to talk a little bit about bead anthropology and the usage of beads throughout history. And then most of the items that we're looking at today are for sale. So if you are interested in purchasing any of the beads that we are going to be talking about today, you can shop directly in the comments. We are mostly, we're more familiar with like shopping through or having you guys shop through Facebook. If you would like to shop through YouTube, please write down your items and then message it to us on Facebook or email it to us after the fact. YouTube kind of sometimes does some tricky stuff with comments from live streams on YouTube. But Facebook does fewer tricky things whenever we're doing live streams. And then if this is your first time shopping with us, please remember to message us sometime either during or after the live stream. Message us on Facebook or email us with your email address so that we can send you an invoice via PayPal.
Yeah, and the best way to do it, we've learned.
The best way.
The absolute best way, if you want to be, if you want to get a gold sticker as you're going through the live stream, after we're done or after you're done making your purchases, send us a list of all the items that you want to purchase on our Facebook, the Bead Place, and that is the best way.
Yeah, we'll cross-reference that with your comments and make sure that we're not missing anything, you're not missing anything, and make sure we're all...
So no mistakes happen. It's Ziploc tight. But everybody, I gotta do it. Make sure to like the video, or if you're on Facebook, give us a heart.
You're yelling.
Well, I don't know how good this mic is. I don't know how good the mic is.
Can you guys hear us okay? I know the lighting's a little weird today. We're trying. But let us know in the comments below if you can hear us okay.
But yeah, make sure to like it, share it if you're in any bead groups or any kind of...
Check the rules first before you share it.
Or just share it on your feed,
Let's get started.
But yeah, let's, with all that fun stuff out of the way.
The housekeeping.
Oh, also...
Yay! Terry says that we sound great.
Awesome.
Thanks, Terry. We appreciate it.
And as always, you can type in your items as we're going. But like I said, if you want that gold star, just go ahead at the very end. You can still type it, but send it itemized.
Let's start. Let's begin.
Let's get into it.
All right. So we're going to start with, are we on hand cam?
Yes.
Are we good? Okay. So we are going to start with some turquoise. So turquoise is one of those gemstones. Let's look at these. Let me put that there.
Ooh, that looks real good.
So Alex, if you'd like to type in lotus turquoise, why isn't it showing up?
Hang on. I got you.
Sorry, guys.
Oh.
1 sec. We're trying. So,
oh, that is weird. Oh, okay, I see.
Is it going?
Is that fine?
You gotta spell it with the T-U-R. You did a typo. T-U-R-Q. Okay, so guys, these hand-carved lotus bloom turquoise beads are $8.75. I'll show them to you now that we got that figured out. So these are heat treated turquoise. They are genuine turquoise. Alex, are you able to manually focus?
Nope.
Not on this camera at all?
Unfortunately.
Oh.
You just got to get real close with it.
Real close?
Yeah. It'll pick it up eventually.
Oh, geez.
Maybe pull back a little bit. Yeah, so we're using a webcam for our hand cam.
Our regular camera wasn't working. I'm sorry, guys. We might have to figure another technique out. We tested
Well, let's ask them. Is that...
Are you guys able to see this? Not well.
Put it real close.
Real close?
Real close. Because it's going to focus on whatever it can find. It's trying to focus on the back.
Oh, look at that. There we go. It just takes a minute.
Yeah.
Working the kinks out. I'll move my hand out of the way.
Blossom Lining asks if it's real.
It is real. Most turquoise for jewelry purposes.
Gotta be closer.
Really?
Because it's jumping in and out of focus.
I'm being perfectly still and it's not focusing.
You keep going. Okay.
All right. Well, most turquoise is heat treated to be stabilized.
Ooh, no, this is okay, sorry.
This is the natural color. This is not. Did you do that or did you focus that? Ooh, look at that. That's sharp.
Okay.
Cool. All right. I think we got it figured out, guys.
It's always an adventure.
Yeah, yeah. So most modern turquoise is heat treated to stabilize it in order to make it durable enough to wear. Turquoise is one of those kind of like soft chalky stones, so it needs a little bit of TLC in order to make it wearable. So this is a hand carved lotus design. So turquoise actually was one of the first gemstones mined, like in history, for jewelry production. People kind of have mixed ideas of when turquoise was starting to be mined for jewelry purposes and adornment purposes. I think Coral says she didn't know it was that soft. I think it's got a Mohs hardness scale of 4 or 5. I think it's between 4 and 5. So people are thinking that somewhere between 4,000 to 6,000 BC was when turquoise first started to be pulled out of the ground for jewelry and for decorations on weapons and clothes. It is also, throughout history, turquoise has been used as a medium of exchange for people on this continent. So Native Americans or American Indians used it almost like currency to trade back and forth. And then a lot in jewelry designs and decor. So these actually are carved in an Asian motif. So this is a traditional lotus blossom. This is a popular motif that is common in Eastern religions. It's a symbol of enlightenment. I don't know if, yes, they are $8.75 a bead. Yep. So they're hand carved. I'm trying to show you some detail here. So lotus beads are a symbol of enlightenment and purity and determination, and also of life. So they root in muddy and murky water, and then they produce, what are you doing? They produce a beautiful, stunning, perfect bloom on top of the water. So it's just kind of a symbol of determination and life. And they're beautiful. So I did want to show you guys one thing. A lot of times carved pieces like this are not actually turquoise. They are magnesite that has been dyed. But we popped one open to show you guys that this is genuine turquoise. So you see that beautiful color all the way through. So this is one of those lotus beads, and the inside of it is blue all the way through.
I will say the color on this camera is surprisingly better than the other one.
Yeah, it is better. Isn't that weird? I'll put all these little pieces back in.
And remember, guys, if you do want to purchase any of these, you guys can still put the tag. So Lotus Turk is the
item number.
Not UPC.
And then just let us know the quantities as well if you're interested in these pieces.
But you can still put those in the live stream if you'd like.
Yeah. So the other turquoise pieces that we're wanting to show you are some very special pieces as well. These are also, they're heat treated to stabilize them. Get a few of them in my hand and get it real close so I can show you. I feel like I'm like reaching really far to show you. Here we go.
So I can pull it back and I'll try and.
That's okay. It's fine. Okay. So these are copper line and gold shimmer. Yeah, Coral says that cracked one would be fun to put on a small vase. That would be pretty. Oh, Marcia, thank you for the clarification on the Mohs scale.
What's the name for this one?
So Janice says the video is so blurry. Can we focus it a little better? Janice, we're working really our hardest to get it not blurry. Make sure we see it clear on our screen. If you are able to adjust the HD level on the setting of your stream, if you are on mobile, click the 3 dots at the top and you can try to watch it in higher quality. So Alex, this one is triangle, T-R-I, Turk, T-U-R-Q. So these are $3.35 a bead. So they are turquoise that are cut into triangles, and then they've been rimmed with copper and then a gold shimmer on the outside. So it's like gold dust powder that's been embedded in the copper. And each one of these little guys is different. Joanne says, mine is very clear. Well, good. Yeah, we're trying.
Facebook actively degrades video quality down to what it thinks your bandwidth can handle. So you will likely, a lot of people watching on Facebook will have to adjust their the definition, like the quality of their stream.
Yeah. So Alex, these are turquoise coins. So you can put coin Turk. And these ones are $9.75. But they, oh, I'm sorry, guys. I told you wrong. So regularly they're $9.75. However, tonight they are 30% off. So the other ones were regularly $4.75, and tonight they're $3.35. And then the coins are regularly $9.75, and they are $6.85. Sorry, I was so distracted by trying to get our screen clear that I forgot to mention that we are doing 30% off on the gold line turquoise. And so these pieces were recently featured in Robert Redford's Sundance catalog. So a couple of the artists that the Sundance catalog hosts have used these pieces. So they are phenomenal. We have had like larger pieces of these in the past, like larger teardrop strands, and anytime we've had them, they fly out of here. So they are stunning. And now just a reminder that turquoise is a natural stone, so each and every one of these is going to be different. And one of the things that I love about these particular beads is that they are not extremely uniform coins. They are kind of wavy. So each one's going to be different. And let's say you're purchasing these for earrings, just specify that and we'll do our best to match pairs for you. Really, with any of this, we want you guys to be happy with your products. So if you've got special requests, just let us know and we will handle it. All righty. That's my first tray. We'll move on. Do you want to switch back to face cam? I see that we've got some other folks watching that weren't here for the intro. Do you want to let them know the mode of operation here?
Yeah, everybody. So it looks like we got almost double the viewership that we did when we first started. So just so you guys know, if you're watching on YouTube, the best way to do orders is through Facebook, just because YouTube kind of chops up live comments and doesn't. Anyway, it's not great. YouTube's live comment system is not great. So if you want to head on over to our Facebook live feed, if you're shopping, if you're just watching, having fun, that's whatever. We appreciate you either way. But the way that you order is seeing the tags that were popping up. So the kind of like item numbers, I guess.
Kinda.
You just type those right there in the comment section, and of course the quantity, and then we will watch it back and send you an invoice. You also please send us your email address whenever you send that distracted. So whenever you at the end of the video
tonight,
or
guys.
now, just send your email address so that we can send you that invoice and you can get all of your items.
Your goodies.
Your goodies.
Okay, so Stacy says, Abby, I love your hairs. Thank you. I've been messing with it tonight because I didn't do anything with it this morning. I just let it dry, so it's in my face. Okay, I get it out of my mouth because it's flying in my mouth right now. So the last beads that we looked at were carved in China. So China does a wide variety of, well, I would say the vast majority of the gemstone cutting. Whether or not the gemstones are sourced in Asia, most modern day gemstones are actually cut and or carved in China. Not all of them, but most of them. So there's incredible skilled gem cutters that have been doing it for a very long time. And there's also a lot of other things that are carved besides gemstones. So one of the most common used pieces throughout beads in history is bone. So you might be familiar with like the traditional ivory carvings that were done in mostly China. Jade is another really traditional piece or gemstone that's used for traditional carvings. And nowadays, rather than using ivory, the majority of the pieces that look like they're ivory are actually carved out of bone. So Alex, if we could switch to the hand cam, let's take a look at some Chinese bone pieces. So as early as 16,000 BC, yes, you heard me correctly, 16,000 BC, Chinese societies were using bone, teeth, and shell beads as jewelry. So beads have been used throughout history, not only to kind of make things prettier, but also as, you know, pieces of currency, trade mediums. And so there are lots of societies that have used materials like bone over the years. But China is one of the main ones that, you know, even to this day, does a lot of these traditional bone carving designs. So this particular piece, oh, I didn't tell you the price. So the double butterflies are $8 a bead. And guys, these are beads. They're drilled this way. I get excited talking about bead anthropology.
Is that $8?
Yes, $8 a bead. And they are double-sided. They've got the double butterflies on both sides. And they're a beautiful hand-carved bone bead. So in traditional Chinese culture, but the butterfly is a symbol of love and also a symbol of being young at heart. It's also a symbol of young love. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the story of the butterfly lovers. Does anybody in chat, have you heard of that? The kind of, it's kind of like China's Romeo and Juliet. pick up a couple other ones here. So this, I'm going to paraphrase, and I might be getting a few things wrong here, but essentially the story of the butterfly lovers. It is that there was a young woman who wanted to go away and study at school. She was from a rich family, and she wanted to go away and study at school, and so she needed to dress as a man to do so. So she dressed as a man and met a man who she fell in love with. They spent a lot of time together. That man did not know at that point that she was a woman. And so they developed a really strong bond. They studied together. They went back to school, or they went back home after the fact, and they kept in touch. They wrote to each other, and it got to the point where the woman actually, still hiding the fact that she was a woman, arranged for her friend to marry her younger sister, who did not exist. So her plan was to have him arrive, and she would be the younger sister. Well, in the meantime, while he was packing to travel there to meet her non-existent younger sister, I'll move this closer so you guys can see these. Her parents actually arranged for her to marry someone else. And so I don't remember exactly how her friend, the man, died. It might have been died of grief when he found out. That I don't recall exactly. But when it became time for the woman to marry the man, or her fiance, the arranged marriage, the wedding procession went past the man friend from school, his grave site, and it paused because of bad weather. And the girl, or the woman, she went to pay respects at his gravesite, and it's the legend says that when she arrived, the gravesite split open, and she dove into it because she didn't want to marry the other man. And then out came 2 butterflies. So the legend is that she and her young love turned into these 2 butterflies. So it's a story of essentially love transcends all. So that's why you see 2 butterflies often in traditional Chinese carvings. That was a really long story. Okay, if anybody's still watching after that, we're gonna look at some inset yak bones. So these are another culture that uses. I need to bring it closer. So you can put yak, yep, and then coral.
Cool.
Nope. And then Turk. So nice. These, they are $5.75. Alrighty. So these are Tibetan yak. Change of pace. These are actually really, really, really old. So these are Tibetan Kapala. They are that's Kapala. And they are often found in really old malas. Now, these particular ones are dated between the 16th and 17th century. So they are yak bones that have coral chips and turquoise chips actually set in them. There are modern ones that you see that have been embedded in resin, like modern day resin, but these are the actual old ones. So these are fantastic, and they are $5.75 a bead. And the reason why they are so expensive is because full malas of these, not necessarily ones these old, like newer ones, like from the 18th century, can go up to $6,000–$7,000 per mala. And we're talking much smaller, much newer beads. So these are traditional ones.
So
the hole on these is drilled through the center of the disc. So they sit along the strand like these. These are approximately the size of the quarter. We don't have exact measurements on these because they are all slightly different. They're handmade and they are beautiful. So most of them have
something for like scale purposes.
Yeah, do you want to go grab a quarter from the drawer? Would that be okay with you?
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Or a bottle cap? Oh, that'll work.
No, get a quarter because bottle caps are different sizes. So as I said, most of these are a beautiful turquoise and a beautiful coral. Some of them don't have the inlay all the way around, but most of them do. And then a few of them have bits of lapis in them. One or two of them have bits of lapis in them, but most of them are turquoise and coral. So these have been used for, oh, thank you. These have been used for a very long time. And you can see some of them look different on the inside because they are made from a natural product. So here you can see them next to a quarter.
A little bit smaller than a quarter.
Yeah, just slightly smaller. I'll put one on top of a quarter so you can see. Slightly smaller than a quarter. Like that. All right. Some great, very unusual beads come from Tibet. All right, well, I'm going to switch to the next stack. And Alex, if you could do a quick mention of what we are doing tonight and how we're doing it.
Yeah, everybody. Like we said about 15 minutes ago when we started that second tray, we are doing a live sales here. So if you're just joining us, the way that you participate is put in the item number, which I'm typing in and sending all the information to your eyes. Type that in the comments section, preferably on Facebook.
And if you're watching on YouTube, you can watch on YouTube and just send it to us after the fact.
Yeah, and make sure whenever you do that, you send an email address so that we can send you your invoice after the fact.
Yeah.
Also, make sure to like the video and share it.
Yeah.
And subscribe if you're on YouTube.
If you don't mind, we'd like that. So we're going to look at some vintage, not ancient, bone beads now. So these are, you can call these batik bone, B-A-T-I-K, bone. And they are $2 a bead. And quantities of a lot of this stuff is limited, guys, because they are vintage or ancient or prehistoric. So these guys are African batik bone. And as I said, they are, they're not ancient, but they are vintage. They are generally from Kenya and Ghana. And guys, if you have a preference on if you want the dots or the stripes, just let us know in the comments. So they are made from recycled cow bone. So switching from yak to cow now. So a lot of times, you know, before the modernization of animal agriculture, you know, you'd use every single piece of everything that you would hunt or gather. And so this is an example of that. So this process to do the coloring on these pieces dates back actually to 4th century BC in Egypt. You see it a lot with bone like this and also with stones, like whether it be agate, like specifically carnelian. You see it a lot in modern like DZZ agates and things like that. And we'll look at those in just a second. So this process is done in a couple of different ways. Traditionally, like I would say probably late 1800s, early 1900s. This process was done with baking soda or bleach, and then they would either set it out in the sun and then just allow the bead to kind of darken and lighten due to the baking soda or the bleaching. Also, another way that this is done is using beeswax resists. So they'll paint the pattern on the bead itself with the beeswax, and then they'll use a dark dye to actually penetrate the areas that don't have the beeswax resist. So it's a really interesting process. So this dark color is either aged naturally, or it is sometimes done with a charring process through heat. And then a lot of times it's also with the lighter color being the like the resist area or the bleached area. Yeah. Oh, sorry, getting excited talking about trade beads. And then with the heat, or the dye that is used to darken it. But isn't that cool? It's almost like a wood stain when they use the dyes to darken it. And a lot of times you can even kind of like scrape your fingernail across the top of it and feel some of the beeswax that's still on these pieces. So these particular ones are actually still manufactured to this day. These ones that I have in my hand are vintage. And then we do have modern ones available in the store as well. All right. So I mentioned that we would look at some of the like the DZZ agate pieces. So traditionally, this is also done on agate and other types of similar stones, specifically like carnelian. You'll see it done on just a wide variety of stones, sardonyx, things like that. But this is actually a kit that we offer here in the store. It contains the bleached gemstones. Modern day gemstones like this are done with like a laser heating process, but it's still the traditional idea of using the baking soda or bleaching agent and then the heat to make it happen a lot faster than sitting it out in the sun for months at a time. No, Susan, you're not the only weird. If Susan says, "Am I the only weird one in the group? I can't use bone beads." Just creeps me out. No, I don't use modern bone beads because I don't know. But I will use the vintage and ancient ones because I know that it's used sourced ethically. So this particular bracelet also contains tiara cast findings, and then these fun little red pieces are poison. They are actually a seed, and usually nature only uses red or creates red pieces when it wants to warn you of something. And so these seed pods are actually poisonous. Not to wear, but to ingest. So no eating your bracelet. But anyway, this, if you want one of these kits that shows traditional like DZZ agate and then the poisonous seed pods, they are $20 for the kit. And so you can type DZZ kit in the comments if you'd like one of these. And each one is just kind of a traditional symbol. Some of them have moons. Some of them just kind of have swirls. But each one has a different symbol on it. They are $20. And then they also have glass Mayuki seed beads. But they're pretty. No, Becca says nom, nom, nom. Don't do it. We even have red warrant, like when we have strands of the I don't know how to pronounce the seed, otherwise I would try. I generally try to do a good job of learning how to pronounce specific names and words, but I don't know how to pronounce that one. Starts with an H though. But yeah, we even have red warning signs on the strands of those seed pods in our wall. All right, so the next red that I'm going to show you is actually a vintage bone strand. And so these pieces are recycled bone. These are vintage, again, not ancient, but vintage. And this is a beautiful orange red. Now, these are $9 a strand, and this is, you can just call it red bone. This is dyed bone. Now, I do want to tell you, with long periods of letting this sit out in the sun, or like just exposure to the elements, if you wear it in the ocean or in the pool, the red color can eventually wear off because it's just a kind of a traditional dyeing method done in Africa. But it is a very strong dye. And so they are a beautiful, bright, traditionally colored bone bead, and they're awesome. Okay, I want to show you something real quick before we move on to the next segment. I'm going to show you what I like to do with some of my really special beads. I'm going to make a charm keeper necklace. So I'm going to take some of my trade beads and some spacers and show you one of my favorite ways to pardon me, to just feature some special pieces. So the first thing that I want to show you is this really cool charm keeper. This you may have seen before with our stitch marker necklaces that we have the kits for on the website. This is actually a tiara cast product. I'll get a little closer so you can see what's happening here. This actually unhooks and you can swap stuff on and off of it. Any large hole. A lot of this stuff that we're looking at tonight has hole sizes that are a little bit larger than normal. The only exception that we've got so far that doesn't have at least a 2mm hole would be the turquoise pieces that we've looked at. So this charm keeper, if you'd like a charm keeper, they're available in this beautiful kind of vintage bronzy antique silver gunmetal color. They are $3.90. And you can put charm keeper in the comments if you would like to grab one of these. But I'll show you how to use this. So what we're going to do is, I've got a head pin right here. Now, if you're new to jewelry making, a head pin just has a little nail head at the bottom of it, and it stops our beads from falling off. I'm going to cut open one of my strands of bone.
What are they?
The charm keepers, they are $3.90. And let's see.
And I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. So I'm going to string one of these beautiful blossom beads, the lotus blossom beads that we looked at first, right on the bottom of my head pin. I'm going to add a little washer. Oh, no problem, Randy. We've got a little washer right there, just one of our tiara cast washers. I'm going to add one of our beautiful red bone beads like this. Another brass washer. If I can dig one out, they're all running from me. And then you can see this is what we've got so far. And then I'm going to put some of our Indonesian Java glass on top. And so we'll look at the Java glass closer a bit later on, but isn't that cool? So next, what I'm going to do is take one of my chain nose pliers. I'm going to grab the head pin directly on top of the beads. I'm going to use my finger to bend that over into a right angle. Then what I'm going to do is take my round nose pliers and grab right here in the bend, and then put my finger there so you can see what, oh, wrong way, so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to bend the wire up around the top and down to make kind of like the top of a clothes hanger. I'm going to kind of reset everything because I'm doing this about 1.5 feet away from my face. And so now what I'm going to do is bring the tail end around and underneath, straight out to the other side. Give you another look at what we've got here. So what we're doing is actually a technique called a wrapped loop or a closed wrap loop. I'm going to bring this tail end around right underneath the loop to kind of secure it all. And what I'm doing is just making a fun little beaded dangle that I'm going to add on my charm keeper. Now, of course, this would make a beautiful, stunning pair of earrings. Just add an ear wire onto that and you are set. But I'm going to show you how to turn all of these beautiful, well, not all of them, but a lot of these beautiful, like one-of-a-kind pieces into a stunning necklace. Now you can just string that on and be good with it. What I like to do, just so that all of my pieces look consistent and so that they're spread out a little bit more and all look a bit more uniform, I like to use a head pin, or not a head pin, sorry, a jump ring. Now, look at me in the top corner for a second, guys. Anytime you're opening and closing a jump ring, you want to make sure to open and close it in this direction and never pull it open like this. When you open and close it in this direction, it's going to be a lot easier for you to close it in the correct position. So I've got my jump ring. Oh, there we go. I've got my jump ring. It's slightly open. I'm going to string my head pin onto it. I'm going to grab my chain nose pliers and bring one in this way. I'm going to grab another chain nose pliers and bring it in like that. Got the break of that jump ring right at 12 o'clock, and I'm going to close it. And so now I've got this beautiful, dangly, finished looking charm that I'm going to add onto my charm keeper. So it adds a little bit of length, a little bit more dangle, and you'll see that as we add charms to our charm keeper, that we are going to have it look a lot more uniform. All right, guys, I'm going to clear this out of my way real quick, and I'm going to move on. So if you're just joining us, thank you. Thanks for joining us, for one. And then for two, if you'd like to purchase any of the items that we're showing tonight, you can just leave a comment right where you're watching it. If you are watching on Facebook, that's awesome. Thank you for joining us. Feel free to share the video, like the video. It really helps us in the algorithm, you know, all of that. And then if you're watching on YouTube, you are welcome to leave comments. We can see them, but if you are shopping, we prefer that you go ahead and send your comments over either on Facebook after the fact, or just hop on over to Facebook and watch us there. Okay, let us move on. So we'll move on to some traditional African glass. Alrighty, I'll set that there so you guys have something pretty to look at while I grab the other glass. So where's everybody watching from tonight? You know, I see some locals here. All right, so I'm going to set my head pin and my tools aside, and we will move on. Okay, so the beads that we're looking at now are really interesting, kind of unique trade beads. I am going to hop on over and see if I can adjust. Alex usually does this. I'm going to see if I can adjust the code so you guys can know what I'm talking about. One sec. There we go. Oh, nope. I thought I had it. Hey, Alex, can you come adjust the code, please? Can you do the codes? Because I'm not able to do it and do this at the same time. All right. So these particular beautiful beads are called Prosser beads. Prosser. And they are, you can get 10 of these beautiful beads, mixed colors, for $7. Now, these are Kakamba Prosser beads. Prosser beads were made by a traditional cold paste method in 1840, or they started making them between the 1840s and 1850s in Briere, France. I hope I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
There you go. What was that?
That's why I said
Say it again.
Yeah.
Say it again.
Oh.
Anchorage, Alaska. That's a long way away. Well, thanks for watching, Natalie. I see Northeast Ohio. Awesome.
Go Browns. Go Browns.
So these are really popular, or they were and still are really popular in the Republic of Congo. So as you might know, a lot of traditional African trade beads are not actually made in Africa. Now, some of them are, but a lot of the traditional ones were not. They were used as a trade medium by people who came to Africa to, do what they did, get items and all of that, and trade for beads or trade using beads as currency. So these actually, it's kind of a joke with Kambaba Prosser beads that they are, they're usually not strung. And when they are strung, when you do find them strung, they're not strung on traditional materials or the original materials, because they were intentionally strung on weak string as kind of like a way to get people to buy more when their jewelry broke. So they intentionally used weak string, the people who made jewelry, so that they would come back and buy more jewelry out of them. So the natives of the Republic of Congo actually believed, and possibly still do to this day, in my research, I don't know when the papers were written, but that it is kind of sacrilegious to pick up the beads as they spilled. So pockets or little piles of discarded Prosser beads actually can be found in little piles all around the farmland regions of the Republic of Congo. And I think that's kind of cool. So these are all mixed colors, and they are, you can get them in mixes of 10 for $7. Alrighty, we will move on to African wedding beads. So we will move that basket there. And this basket here. We actually have two sizes. We'll start with the small size. How about that? So you can put small. Thank you. And then the small ones are 10 beads for $15. So these are traditional Mali wedding beads, and they are beautiful drops. They come in mixed color batches, and if you have special color requests, you can certainly message that to us, but it's fun to just get a cool mixture of different beads. So these particular Mali wedding beads or African wedding beads are antiques. There are modern ones and there are ancient ones, but the ancient ones are actually made out of clay and don't really look much like this. So these are antiques. They're not modern, but they are not the really, really old ones. So these are actually made in the Czech Republic. So the women of the Fulani, I hope I'm saying that right, people, have worn these beads for almost 2 centuries, these particular styles, not the clay ones. So these beautiful Czech glass traditional beads, it's a tradition with the Fulani women, and they, on their wedding day, the mother gifts her daughter with a set of these beautiful African wedding beads or Mali wedding beads. And so they're made with molds. So the traditional styles are multiple colors of glass that are pressed together in a mold, and then some of them are actually stretched. So the large ones are just as fun as the small ones, or dare I say even more fun. The large ones, you can get 5 of them for $20. And there's some great colors here. They remind me of marbles. Whoops, I'm throwing them.
You're losing your
Oh,
marbles.
well, I'm not going to try to reach that one. Don't knock over the tripod.
Hey, I'm not the one who knocks over tripods here.
Who was watching during the Soft Flex show where I knocked over the tripod?
The one live stream that I wasn't helping and everything went.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, up in flames.
So before, centuries and centuries ago, before they actually used the imported Czech glass ones,
Becca was here.
yeah. Before they used the Czech glass ones, they actually made their own in Mali, the Fulani women did, and they made their own similarly shaped beads using clay. And then when these beautiful glass beads were manufactured, they kind of swapped over to these a couple centuries ago. So, but I mean, look how stunning these are. There's transparency in that one mixed in. They're just, they're beautiful. They're incredible. Alrighty, so let's add one of these beautiful beads to our charm keeper necklace. So I want to show you a quick trick for adding a quick trick for adding a briolette to your work without having to do a briolette bail. Now, if you're interested in learning how to do a briolette bail, we have a YouTube video for it on our YouTube channel. If you're new to us, we have a YouTube channel with over 100 free video tutorials, but we're going to do the cheaters route now. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to string a head pin. Are we on hand cam?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're going to string a head pin through. We're going to make sure that it's not going to slip all the way through. As we discussed earlier, some of these have big holes. So just make sure that it doesn't slip all the way through. And if it does, you can put a little disc spacer there. But what we're going to do now is we are going to grab our tools and we are going to use the tool to grab right here next to the bead. Now, a lot of times, if we weren't using such a special bead, we would just grab the bead and push the wire up. But we want to make sure that we're not going to crack the bead. So we're going to give it a little bit of space. We're going to use our tool right here, and we're going to push this up. Now, I'm going to push it farther like this. Now, when you're doing this kind of like faux briolette bail, like the easy briolette bail, you want to make sure that you're using a hard head pin. Now what I'm going to do is kind of grip like this and then bend my wire up like a clothes hanger. Whoops. Like this. So we are going to then complete the wrap loop like we normally would, but we're doing it sideways. So I'm going to bring the wire around like that. I'm going to grab across my loop, and I'm going to start to rotate it around and down. Now you can wrap as far down as you'd like with this. I'm just going to do a couple of wraps. Then I'm going to trim the tail end off and add it on to my charm keeper. Now, if you'd like a charm keeper, guys, that's the pendant that opens up that you'll see in just a second. You can go ahead and type in charm keeper and we will get it added to your order. They are $3.90. All right. I'm going to grab a jump ring, just like I did before. I'm going to hold the break at 12 o'clock. I'm going to open it like this. I'm going to string my pendant in, hook it on my charm keeper, and close it. Like that. Now, isn't this shaping up to be a really fun necklace? Imagine that chocked full of trade beads. Okay, let's move on to the next next pile of beads. Alex, would you mind switching to face cam and running through the how-tos?
How to. Bam. We got there.
We did it.
All right. So thanks everybody for hanging out with us and watching us tonight, because you could be doing anything that you want. And you're sitting here watching us, hanging out with us, and that's pretty
learning about nerdy bead stuff.
Pretty neat. But as Abby was saying, the best way to participate is head on over to our Facebook, and as we type in all of the item numbers, all you have to do is type in the item number and the quantity, and don't forget to send us your email address, so after the fact, when we get your order ready, we can invoice you. So pretty easy.
Okay, hand cam. Does anybody have any questions so far? If you do, I'm happy to answer questions. I know way too much about beads, and I love to talk about it. So, oh, I need to back up, don't I? Maybe not. I just wanted to show you a design idea real quick that you can do with the beautiful batik bone. And then we're also going to, oh, I can't see that.
Trying to figure something out.
Oh, okay. So this bead here, these beautiful glass beads, are the next ones that we're going to be talking about. So I just wanted to show you this beautiful necklace idea real quick. And you could, of course, do this on a smaller scale if you're not super into really large jewelry like I am. But we shall move on. So the next beads that we are talking about are these beautiful guys here. And so these are $1.25 each, and they come in a handful of beautiful colors like this. So we've got a beautiful root beer color. Alex, we are going to call these Dutch trade beads, and these are $1.25 a bead. So they come in this beautiful root beer color. And please, guys, specify the colors if you have a preference.
$1.25.
They are just $1.25, so they are a good deal. And then we also have this beautiful peach color. God, did I show green? I don't even know what I'm doing. So. We've got beautiful forest green. We've got sea foam. And then we have clear with cobalt dots.
Those are cool.
They are gorgeous. And then one last color is going to be solid cobalt. And they are showing up a little bit more aqua on screen than they actually are. This is a beautiful cobalt color. So these are Dutch trade beads. They're also called moon beads. And they're called moon beads because they are so soft and iridescent, kind of like the moon. So these are made by a sand casting process. They started to be made in the Netherlands, hence the name Dutch trade beads, in the 18th century. They are very popular and have been very popular in Mali and Ethiopia. And they actually are now, these are one of the beads that are actually now made in Africa. So they are made now in Ghana by fair trade artisans. And if you look at these glass colors, you might be able to recognize bottles. They're made now with recycled glass bottles. So I don't drink, so I don't know for sure what bottles use what, but a lot of times people come in and you know, are able to mention bottles or names of products that they recognize the color of the glass from. So if you are still awake and if you're in the comments, if you recognize some of these bottle colors, and you think some of your recycling maybe made it over to Ghana, drop the name of the drink that you recognize the color of. you recognize any of them, Alex? No?
No.
Alrighty, so we are going to set this to the side. And move on to more beads made in
one
Africa.
might be Sprite. That's true.
Yeah. Is Blue Moon? If Carolyn was in the comments, she might know that one. So we are going to look at some beautiful Krobo beads. So Alex, if you could put in the comments that we are now going to look at some beautiful, it's Krobo, Krobo tubes.
Nice.
They are $8. So these are beautiful Krobo glass. So these are made by the people of the Krobo mountain in Ghana. So more beautiful beads that are made by the people of Ghana using traditional techniques. So these are actually hand painted using glass powders. So the bead itself is usually sand cast using glass powders. And then they are actually painted, the designs are painted on with more glass. Natalie says, is this how I place an order? Yes, you can just leave your comment right there, and then please make sure to follow up with us by messaging us your email address after the fact. Thank you. Alrighty, so these are painted. They're hand painted. Each one is made by making almost like a paste or a paint out of glass powders. They're painted on these beautiful tubes with a dowel. Each one is painted on with a dowel, and then these beads are baked so that the designs are fused to the base bead. So these are $8 each, and they are really cool to do really large statement earrings out of, or to just use as a centerpiece or a side piece on a bracelet. I've also seen some beautiful necklace designs with these on either side of a really great focal bead. Alrighty, so we will move on to some more Krobo beads. Most of them are Krobo beads, by the way. Oh, so the glass actually for the modern Krobo beads that we were just looking at, the glass is also made from recycled bottles, and then they're pigmented with other glass. But not only are they made from recycled bottles, but they're also made from recycled windows as well. So we are going to look at our Krobo bead or African trade bead mixes. So most of these beads, let me get it out of the way. Most of these beads are Krobo glass. And so you can get a African trade bead mix. You can get 10 beads for $7.50. And these are all done the same exact way that those beautiful Krobo tubes. Terry says, love that you know so much about the origins of the African trade beads, including how they're made and colored. Well, Terry, I'm really fascinated by anthropology in general. And then also, I think it's important to know where your beads come from. If we're going to be using these beautiful beads from all of these fantastic artists from around the world and wearing these symbols and their art, I think it's great to know what it means. So like I said, these are $7.50 for 10 beads. And if you have specific color requests, you can let us know. Otherwise, it'll just be a mix of beautiful beads. And so these are also fair trade, which is great. So if you don't know, fair trade is an organization or a word that's used to describe people who are paid fair wages for what they do. And these are also made in Ghana. All right, we will move on to the next batch. So we have been looking at primarily glass. And now we're going to look at another kind of traditional style of trade bead that's actually made in Africa. So Alex, you can call these Gene, which is spelled Dgennne, and it's pronounced Gene, like Forrest Gump. So, sorry. I don't know that that's an appropriate thing to say, but that's what I think of every time I think of these beads. So these are actually made in Mali out of black terracotta clay. So they source this beautiful dark clay, like slabs or chunks from the mountains, and kind of it's right where it meets the banks of the Niger River. So Djenné is actually a town in Mali. It's a historic town. It's one of those like, I forget what they call it, but it's like what Chaco Canyon is and all those, like, oh, it's a World Heritage Site. So it's a really fantastic piece of world history. But anyway, they source this awesome black clay. It's black terracotta from out of the mountains, and they grind it up using traditional mortar and pestle. There we go. I got it out. Traditional mortar and pestle methods, and grind it into powder, and they mix it with water, and they make these beautiful clay beads. Then the patterns are stamped in using a variety of tools, either wood or stone tools, and then the recessed areas are painted using a lighter colored clay pigment. Now, what's really interesting about these is that these have been used forever. Like, we're talking prehistoric times. These are not actually beads. These are something called a spindle whorl, and they have been used in many, many different cultures. These particular ones, the spindle whorls from Mali, the Djenné beads or Djenné beads, these particular ones are one of the most common kind of spindle whorls, but essentially what it is it's a weight for spinning yarn or fiber on a drop spindle. So if any of you have ever seen a drop spindle, or if you spin on a spinning wheel, or any other kind of fiber arts, we'd love to know about it in the comments, because we think yarn and beads play nicely together. That's why we have a yarn store within our bead store, and we like hearing what you do. So these Djenné, and oh, I'm sorry, Alex, I misspelled it. It's D-J-E-N-N-E. Not that it matters at this point, but it's just so everybody knows. But yeah, these beads are fantastic. They're super interesting and a really cool piece of history. The people of Djenné actually are known for their terracotta carvings and statues, and it's something that's worth looking up if you have the time. Alrighty, let us move on to Java glass. So we are going to look at Java glass. And it's going to take me a minute to lay them out, but I want to make sure that I lay them out in a specific order so that you guys can get exactly what you want to order. So Alex, this is Java glass, and they are $12. Now guys, as I'm laying these out, I can tell you a little bit of information about these pieces. They come on cotton string. They are approximately 120 beads per strand. However, that approximate number is just that. It's an approximate. So please don't be upset with us if you get your strand and there's like 150 something beads on it, or 168 beads or something. That is just an approximate. They are beautiful, beautiful traditional beads that are made in Indonesia. They're called Java glass, and they are made from recycled glass, like recycled bottles and things like that. You know what? They're not $12. They are 25% off tonight. They are $9. I'm so sorry, Alex. I forgot. We're doing a 25% off sale on our Java glass tonight. So this is the first half of the colors. So they are made, did I say they're made on the island of Bali? And they are stunning. So it's a century, or actually many centuries long tradition to make beautiful Indonesian glass like this. So this is a beautiful cobalt color. So you can call that one cobalt. You don't have to type it in, Alex, but just in case anyone wants to see. Then a beautiful frosted matte finish here. And this is our sea glass color. These also kind of remind me of some of the Krobo glass, especially the ones with the stripes. So these are the striped aqua. And then we're going to call this color wheat. It's a little bit more yellow on screen. It's a little bit more khaki in real life. Yeah, Becca, Java sale. Then this one is our striped lime. And just one strand of this one. We're going to call this one striped raspberry. And this one is striped yellow on black. And then we've got a beautiful blood orange color. And our most popular color of all time, black and white. All right, so I'm gonna lay these down. Actually, Alex, while I load the new ones on, can you load the other ones to that side of the table? In this, can you move these to that side of the table? No, just in order so that it's easier for you to do fulfillment. All right, so we're gonna load the second half of the Java strands on now. Now, if you're just joining us, I would like to know, have any of you used trade beads in your designs before? And if so, what kinds? Whoops. We have a really cool YouTube project on our YouTube channel called Kushukuru, which is a Swahili word that means grateful. And it features some of the Krobo beads and some fair trade paper beads as well. So stop at the black if you don't mind. Thank you. Laurie, if it's a bead that we haven't shown tonight and you're curious about what it is, feel free to send us a picture of it and I can let you know if it's something that I'm familiar with. All right, so this color right here, we're going to call striped orange on black. And then, oh, awesome. Okay, and then this one we're going to call light orange on black. Or striped light orange on black. And this one we're going to call dark orange on black. Isn't it pretty? And then this one we are going to call multicolor on black. And then this one we're going to call crayons. Because I can't think of a better name for it. It's like primary colors on white. And it reminds me, so it's showing off a little bit more aqua on screen, but that blue is more of like a true dark blue rather than aqua. And it just reminds you of a box of crayons. All right, and then this beautiful one, we're going to say this one is green and white stripes. And this one is light green and white stripes. This is a beautiful kind of like sage or celery color. And then this one, we are just going to call rainbow. Well, no, let's call it rainbow on blue. I love this one. Okay, so as we put these guys back, I do want to tell you, if you are interested in just go this side to that side. Sorry. If you're interested in the Java glass but not quite sure if you would, you know, use a whole strand or don't know how to use it, we do have little mixes of the Java glass here. Just you can get a mixed color lot or just the black and white colors. And you can get those 20 beads for $3. So mixed color or black and white, 20 beads for $3. But you can just call that Java mix, and please specify black and white or color mix if you have a preference. Okay, so these beautiful beads we have had in our store. These beautiful beads we've had in our store for, I would say, probably 15 years. These are India silver, so almost pure silver, higher silver content than sterling even, almost pure silver. They are $19 a bead, and they are beautiful A-grade semi-precious stones. Now, these are an incredible deal. They're handcrafted, beautiful beads. We have, you can just call them India silver, and they are 19. So they come in garnet, they come in tanzanite, they come in peridot. We find a peridot and a citrine one to pull out. Now, quantities on these particular ones are limited. We do have a lot of the garnet and a lot of the tanzanite. But if you have a stone preference or a shape preference, please let us know and we will do our best to fill the order. But they are beautiful handcrafted beads. You can see they've got a hole all the way through, and they are incredible. They're one of those types of beads that they just don't make anymore, and especially not now that the price of silver is so high. But yeah, they're beautiful. So we've got beautiful tanzanite, garnet, peridot, and then citrine. Grab another handful to show you. So each one's a slightly different shape. And guys, that tanzanite, it's showing off a little bit more blue on screen than it actually is. That tanzanite is actually a beautiful purple, like the the classic tanzanite color. Alrighty. So, Becca, you're so funny. But like I said, if you have shape preferences, please let us know. We'll do our best to fill it. But as I said, quantities are a bit limited on these. So we will try, but no guarantees. It just makes me happy to just move them around in my hands. Alrighty. So I do, while we're here, I do want to just show you, we're kind of running a little bit later on time than I thought we would, I think with our technical difficulties, but I did want to just show you that this would be one of those fantastic statement beads to add to these charm keeper necklaces. You could do some of the Java glass on top and bottom or some brass and just really have a fun mixed metal look. And then as you continue on collecting beautiful trade beads from around the world, you can just open your charm keeper and add another one on, or swap them out, wear different ones to match the outfit that you have on that day. Donna asks, how much are the charm keepers? So we have them in this beautiful kind of antique bronze gunmetal color, and they are $3.90. We normally have them in a few more colors, but we don't have them, unfortunately, in stock right now. But I think the color that we do have left is the most beautiful color to show off the great trade beads. Let your beads shine rather than the timekeeper. Okay, so on to another few styles of trade beads. So now that we are looking at metal beads, I will come back here. Now that we're looking at metal beads, I did want to show you another one of our kits that features some of our fantastic metal beads. So this particular kit is $27, and it is kind of a hodgepodge of different trade beads. It contains some jade, some aquamarine, some vintage glass, carnelian, aquaterra jasper, pyrite. Has a beautiful West African brass piece that you might recognize from last week's show. It has some beautiful West African tin rondelles. Beautiful Chinese carved carnelian, a little bit of lapis. So it is a beautiful kit, and it does come with tiara cast findings and spacers. It has some pewter, beautiful copper. And like I said, this kit is $27, and we're going to call this the Mixed Fish Kit. So it comes with a beautiful copper fish bead. And Alex is just in the back, but don't mind the tag on the screen. Just call this the Mixed Fish Kit, and this one's $27. It comes with all the beads and the findings that you need to make this bracelet. Isn't that pretty? All right, so we will move on to, oh, I forgot to move my paper over with the Java glass. Sorry, one sec. We will move on to some beautiful, beautiful, stunning, wham. Look at this. So this is African brass, otherwise known as Ashanti bronze. And these beautiful beads are $18 each. And they are all different. Not all of them are perfect, but they are beautiful antique metal trade beads. So I do want to show you, please keep in mind that these are old beads and they are not all perfect and uniform. We obviously won't give you a smushed bead, but they are discolored, they are dirty, and they are cool. So you can call these jumbo brass, and they are $18. But look at these. Now this would be a perfect centerpiece on a necklace design like this, featuring the moon beads or like the Dutch trade beads, some of the batik bone. So instead of my vermeil in the middle of this, look at something like this instead. Now, wouldn't that be cool? So these are fun. They're great because you can see through them. So they're hollow. They're stunning, incredible pieces. So even if it's not something that you would want to wear, just having a beautiful piece of history like this, I think is really cool. All right. So Becca, he's in the other room. And I'm being the one that should fix it, but I'm afraid to break the stream. You guys know how I am. So I did want to also show these again. These are the beautiful little sun pieces that we looked at last week. These are the beautiful sun coins, also the African brass, or we call it Ashanti bronze. These are $4 a bead, and they are beautiful. Also, man, I love these beads. Wouldn't that be cool on our charm keeper? Isn't that awesome? I'm holding it upside down. But yeah, wouldn't that be cool? I just really like these just as an accent bead on bracelets or a focal bead on earrings. Like, can you guys picture an earring with one of the Mali wedding beads and then one of those on top? Wouldn't that be cool? I'm trying to get it close enough that you guys can see it. Man, these are cool. Alrighty. So I'm going to move these to the side and move on to more African metals. And I'm going to try not to spill them. You guys know what happens when Alex is away. I knock stuff over and spill things. So I want to show you, we've got some beautiful ebony wood beads here. And these are West African trade beads. They're wood with a silver band. Now, silver just refers to the color. We are not 100% certain that this is silver used to band these. Generally, it is aluminum or tin or some kind of silver colored alloy. It is not nickel and it is not lead. It's very bright and shiny. But these are wood with silver band, and they are $7 for 10 beads. Aren't they stunning? I love these. Now I'm going to show you a kit that features these, and then I'm going to show you some beautiful beads that are in the kit. So this is a wonderful style for a neutral bracelet. This features some beautiful tin rhombos and those awesome ebony wood spacers. So we're going to call this Ebony Wood Kit. And they do look like Oreos, Becca. That's really funny. So this kit is $33. I do want to tell you guys that this, normally we size our bracelet kits pretty large, just to kind of accommodate everybody's wrist size, and then maybe you've got some leftover beads for earrings. But this one I would say maxes out at a 6-inch wrist. Now, I would recommend to get a couple of the extra trade beads, like the ebony ones or some of the aluminum or tin spacers that we're going to show you next. Normally we have bracelets that are sized a little bit bigger than this, but this one, I mean, it fits me, but I've got a 6-inch wrist. So I did want to offer that disclaimer. It does have other smaller African trade metal between, and then tier cast and sterling silver findings. Alrighty. Let me scooch that over and we will move on to these guys. So these are aluminum or tin alloy rondelles, or rhombos, I should say, not rondelles. They're saucer shape. They are a traditional African manufactured metal using recycled materials. Generally, they are made with either aluminum or tin. They are also sometimes made with white bronze. But because they're used with recycled source materials, we are never 100% certain of the alloy that's used to make them. So I do want to offer that disclaimer. Now, I am very allergic to nickel, and I can wear these just fine. So I do want to let you guys know that. However, like I said, we are not 100% certain. So Alex, we are going to call these tin saucers, and they are 90 cents each. And these are great. They make an awesome, just like plop that on the top of a round gemstone bead, put a little something on top, and they are a beautiful spacer bead. Now, another thing that I did want to mention is, because these are all handmade using recycled materials and traditional methods, these holes are not always centered. Some of them are a little offset, so it might not sit exactly straight on your earring, but that just adds to the interest. So they are super fun. All right, everybody, thumbs up in chat for Alex. Alex is back doing the ones and twos, as we call it. That's Alex's thumbs up. That's funny. So these are really old, really vintage African trade beads. Now these are likely, a brass and tin alloy. We're going to call these...
Really old, really vintage.
Yes. No, I don't know what to call these.
All right.
What do we call these?
Whatever.
Whatever.
These are the whatevers.
These are, we'll call them barrels. These are mystery alloy barrels. So these are really super old African trade, and these are $3 a bead. Now these are rough looking, which is fun. Listen to them jingle though. Like, aren't these cool?
Cool as the other side of the pillow.
Yeah. I love them. I'm going to show you guys more.
Well,
I'm not even on screen. I'm just watching them.
Showing people.
Aren't they fun? So some of them do have pits. Some of them do have holes. And that's just a part of the fun beauty of these. Yeah, they do look, Lisa says little beehives. They do look like little beehives.
They reminded me of like the little, what are they? Bowls or whatever that you smash in Zelda, you know?
Oh, like the clay pots?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who plays Zelda? Anybody, a video gamer in the chat?
Literally every Zelda has these clay pots that you can smash.
So these are decorative brass, and my guess would be that it is brass and tin alloy.
These are different?
These are different. These are decorative barrel beads. And these are, again, African trade beads. Now, remember, not all African trade beads are made in Africa. My guess would be that these are Tibetan originally. However, they were sourced from Africa. And these have a real big hole. So these are fun. These are $5 each. No, $5 each.
Oh, well, yeah, I hadn't gotten that far yet. And neither had you.
I know. I'm sorry. So this would be a great piece to just string a thick piece of cord through. Look at the size of that hole. You could fit, I would say, a 4mm cord through there real easily. But they've got some beautiful color variation. And $5 for a bead like this is a heck of a deal because these are really intricate. I know. They're just beautiful. Yep. And Lori, we will do our best to find one that doesn't have any imperfections. But remember, these are all handmade. Now, looking at these, I do want to say it is possible that this is a silver overlay on the top of it because you often see that with Tibetan beads, but they are priced like it is not. So these are great. Yeah, multiple strands of leather would be gorgeous on this. And then I know I keep bringing back my charm keeper, but I'm trying to go fast so we're not here all night. I was planning to add one of these on here too, onto that charm keeper. Wouldn't that be stunning? Yeah, that is awesome. Yeah, alrighty. Well, we just have a few more to show you tonight, and then we will be done. Okay. Elsie, you want to remind the folks what we're... No.
What are we...
Alex is tired.
I am tired.
We've been here all day. We had to get up early because our refrigerator broke for like the 4th time. And we had to get up and have the repairman come fix it. But he looked like TV's Chet Hunter. And he's a very nice man, so it's all good. You guys, does anybody know who Chet Hunter is? That's not his real name. So these are, Alex, I'm going to need you to type this whole thing in. These are hand inlay trapezoidal, no, I'm just kidding. You're not going to type that whole thing. You can just call them Nautilus. Nautilus. And they are $5 a bead. And I wish you guys could see the rainbow on these.
They show up, kind of.
Kind of, but they're a lot more rainbowy in person. But anyway, what I was messing with Alex, I was going to tell him that these are hand inlay Nautilus trapezoidal prisms. So these are beautiful mosaic set trapezoid shape or trapezoidal prism shaped beads. Now we had these a few months back and we sold out of them super fast. They are incredible beads. But we were able to get more in, and they are beautiful. Yeah, they do. And then look, here, you might be able to see the detail on the back. It's just so bright. I wish they, I mean, I don't wish they weren't so reflective, but yeah, they're gorgeous. Now, I did want to mention we do offer a kit with this design using some beautiful, beautiful vintage English cut check glass beads. And this kit is $19.95 for the bracelet. So it has one of the trapezoidal prisms. It has 50 of the English check glass or English cut check glass beads, and then 52 and then some of the size 11 Miyuki seed beads in like a rose gold peachy color, like a salmon color, and then 1 foot of stretch cord that'll fit through. And this is just such a stunning, just throw it on, beautiful bracelet. I just love it. So we were really happy to get these back in stock. They're super cool. I just want to show you how pretty this bead or this bowl is. Ah, I'm throwing beads everywhere. But yeah, aren't they gorgeous? They're just very mermaidy. There we go. You can kind of see the detail.
That's the ticket.
That's the ticket. Yeah, but they're stunning. They're a white rainbow shell. And then the last bead that we're going to look at tonight, and then we're going to do a little personal show and tell.
Becca bought them all, so we're sold out.
Okay, Becca. Yeah, I mean, she already bought us out of them last time. But did I tell you guys they were made in the Philippines? Because they're made in the Philippines. Okay, so you guys want to see the oldest beads ever?
Literally?
Yep.
Whoa.
All right, you ready for them?
That was terrible, but yeah.
Look at these weird looking donuts.
They look like Cheerios.
These are the most special beads in my collection. These are Neolithic beads.
Yeah.
And so they were like some of the first beads ever. And Alex, here, I'll just give you this so you can type that in. Neolithic quartz beads. So these were actually made at the towards the end of the Stone Age, back when tools made out of stone were first starting to be a thing. They were made out of quartz. Yes. Now, these are often reproduced. The style, you'll often see them looking really chippy. Usually those are more modern ones. The ones that are really old and from the Neolithic period are usually smooth like this.
Often imitated, never duplicated.
Yep. Alrighty. So these actually are, so they're normally $100 a bead. However, tonight we're going to do half off because I just love these beads. And I know if you've stuck it out with us this long that you're interested in trade beads and would give it a good home.
Instead of.
So let me tell you, what are you doing? Oh, you spelled quartz wrong. Guys, we are tired.
And also, I don't know how to spell.
That too.
Thanks for trying to cover for me, Abby. But
yeah, no, they do look like donuts. They really do. So let me just give you a little chat about how these beads are made or were made back in the Stone Age. So these beads were they were made by finding a hunk of quartz. So we've found a hunk of quartz. We are someone from the Stone Age. We've found a hunk of quartz. And we are thinking, okay, I'm going to make this into a bead. Now, back then, who knows what they were thinking? But the best guesses were that these were kind of like a piece of currency almost. So they would use these, they would string through them, and they would use these, either carry them around their necks to adorn themselves or to trade as currency. So these were made by putting them on a pile of pebbles or sand. They'd make a mound, and then they would do a little inset in the mound. They'd chip away and make a little hole. Then they'd put this in the hole. They would take a harder rock and just whack at it until they created a little well right in the middle. And then they'd flip it and they'd whack at it until that well met that well and created a hole. So before drilling, before tools, modern tools were a thing, that is what they did to make a hole in stones. Isn't that interesting? So these were from my personal collection. I just recently brought them to the store just because my personal collection is growing really, really beyond its cabinet that it's in. But I just wanted to show these because they fit in with trade bead history. So that's that. And now I'm just going to show you guys some cool stuff. And thank you for joining us tonight. Alrighty. So these items that I'm showing you are not for sale, but I just thought you might appreciate them because they're pretty neat. All right, so these little bits here, these are actually mummy beads. So they are from ancient Egypt and they were sourced from Egyptian tombs. So a lot of times, you can't really guarantee that. No, you're not typing anything. We're not selling these. Oh. These are from my personal collection. I'm just showing them cool beads. Alex rushed over here real quick. So anyway, these are quartz. They are not, I know, it's like, should I be showing these? No. These are often not necessarily taken from mummies. They were taken from tombs that had been previously destroyed, ransacked, all of that. Grave robbers, tomb robbers, all of that. The movies. What was the movie?
The Mummy.
The Mummy, yeah. But yeah, so they're really cool quartz mummy beads. Well, I wish it would focus. I gotta hold it still.
No, that's not gonna do anything here.
It won't.
I might be able to help. Hold on.
Hold on. Alice is gonna, because they're beautiful. They're soft, and I want you guys to be able to see it.
Take a second because I gotta do some clicks. There we go.
Okay, so you guys see how beautiful and just kind of soft it is? Isn't it just incredible that back in the ancient Egyptian days of adornment that they were able to create such beautiful, intricate shapes like this out of quartz? I just think it's special. All right, so the next Egyptian beautiful special things that we have here are scarabs. So scarabs that are made out of, I don't know how to say it, but I think it's fascians. So glass, beautiful blue glass made out of sand. These are also recovered from ancient Egypt.
Also not for sale.
Also not for sale. I'm going to show you a big scarab. Also trade beads. This is one. This is a larger one from my personal collection made of fascians. The older is generally this kind of more turquoise color. The later ones, more the glossy blue color. But
so if one were to purchase one of those from a trade show, how much would one have to pay?
Anywhere from $5 to $500 because they range in quality and authenticity. So it just really depends. And then this is the last really cool, weird thing that I want to show you. This is ancient Roman glass. So these were from anywhere from 12,000 to 17,000 BC, if my memory serves me correct. And there's, I mean, it varies, but this is the bottom of a bottle or a jar or a vessel. Now, ancient Roman glass generally has a really cool iridescence to it. And that iridescence is something that usually only happens under the sea. So the thought is that all of this recovered ancient Roman glass was actually sitting under the sea for a really, really long time. Now, there are legends of it being, you know, Atlantis or sunken cities or something, but no, they're from shipwrecks. So that's where a lot of this broken glass comes from. So recovered shipwrecks. But I just wanted to throw this in there too because it's a bit of anthropology. We were talking about glass and its usage not only for beads but also for other things throughout history. So I just thought I'd show you this little bit from my personal collection. And that's it. So I hope I haven't bored you guys to death with my tidbits and history lessons of trade beads through the years. And if you are local to the St. Louis area, we have, dare I say, thousands of more styles of trade beads in our bead store. Even if you're not local, you can check or you can request special items. We do Facebook orders. We do Facebook video tours of our store. And if there's anything that you are interested in finding out more about from tonight's selections, we're happy to help answer comments. Usually Alex or I are the ones who are answering the questions on the Facebook page, or you can send us an email. And yeah, we appreciate you spending time with us tonight. This is my passion. I love beads throughout history. They're one of the oldest pieces of history that exist. They predate so many things that are kind of make civilization what it is. bits of history from civilization. You guys can tell I'm tired. But I appreciate you guys joining us tonight, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Thanks.
Goodbye.
Bye.